Yeah, I'm keeping the score.
Okay, okay. So, thank you so much for all of you to be there, especially Lygeros, Maria also. But I would like to stretch some points, some critical point about the pre-agreement. So the first difference, this is not an agreement, but a pre-agreement, because we need a ratification. And by the way, two ratification. On the slide, you can see the structure of the pre-agreement. It's obvious that there are problems even in the structure. In strategy, in fact, we start to read a text without reading it. So we are going to use topology like this. So we just want to find the connection between the articles and find how they can manage to solve the problem. So you can see that we have article 1 until 20. We have references to the resolution of the United Nations. We have some problems, and you can see in this slide, which is better. In fact, you will see that if you want to read Article 1, you have to read before Article 7. If you want to read Article 8, you have to... C'est pas nine? Is there a problem?
Yeah.
A lot of air.
Okay, okay. Like this is okay?
Yes, I'll do that.
Yes.
That's good. Go ahead.
No, I'm watching him because I know he has a special... No, the first one. So, you need to read, in fact, on the other side and upside down the lecture because the structure is quite different from a linear way. So, if you don't read the Article 18, you don't know what is the meaning of the Article 13. So, you see, just with this picture, you will see some problems. First of all, you can start from the 1, but you should be at 7. And if you start with Article 1, you should read Article 20. Because they are connected, okay? For the others articles, you see 3, 4, 5, 6, there is no relation. So these articles are isolated. In fact, we can put them together. So the problem is why we have related articles which are not neighbor. And in fact, it's the best way to make a confusion to the reader when you have only 19 pages. So you see, for the Anand plan, we had 10,000 pages. So we have a structure which is rather rational. Here it's not rational. So it's another logic. And this is a logic of confusion. So we will see right now, I think Grigori sent you even the text, so you have it, but I will show you some critical element of the agreement of Skopje. And I will start with this. So remember that the pre-agreement says that is an agreement. Okay? And by the way, it says that it's final. So the problem is why? There is no final agreement which says that is final. If you put this word in the text, in fact, it's already propaganda. Because to be final, you need 2 ratifications. So you can change it. If you can change it, it's not final. If you can't change it, so it's final, but we have a problem for December. So we will see it. The first remark when you read the pre-agreement is to find the other country. So there is no mention for FYROM. No way. You need to know the resolution 8, 17 and 8, 45 to understand that we are talking about FYROM. In the previous, in the intermediate agreement fact in New York, the text is simple. You have Greece and FYROM. Here you have Greece and another country, and you have to find which is this country. They don't want to put the word, the expression FYROM. They want to put only Macedonia. So they can't do this. So you see at point 3, they shall be called North Macedonia, the second part. So the second part is in fact FYROM. So you have all the time have to deduce what is the meaning of the word in this pre-agreement. So the idea will be the democracy of North Macedonia. We will call it North Macedonia, and at the end we will call it Macedonia. So Macedonia is a very stable point. North is not stable. Democracy is not stable. So at the end of the process, by the way, if I ask you what is a country south of America, you know, no? You will use how many words? 1 or 3? In fact, 3. This is the official name, but we use only 1. You get the point? By the way, it's the same with the United States of America. If you say just America, we already understand that it's the same country, but it's not the same country. So America is a continent, it's not a country. But this is a problem. If you have 3 words, you will take 2, and at the end 1. So in strategy, all the time, we want to isolate some words and find a stable word. And the stable is Macedonia. So we have a problem of coherence in the pre-agreement because the expression for the country will be North Macedonia, but not for the nationality, and not even for the language. So you see, you have a language, Macedonian language. Don't worry, don't be upset if I use this word, it's only the pre-agreement. Sure, okay. So, Macedonian language, Macedonian citizen, but North Macedonia. In fact, if we believe really this pre-agreement, we should have 3 times the same expression. But we don't use this. The explanation is easy. In fact, it's due to the demonstration. Without demonstration, we'll use the short name would be just Macedonia. Why? Because our government, and when I say our, I mean Greece, which is not so obvious for the pre-agreement, of mine, prefer Macedonia. So the compromise of the official Greece was to use North Macedonia because of us. So it was a compromise with us and not with FYROM. That's the point. So you see that at the end the term Macedonian and Macedonian have the meaning given under Article 7 of this agreement. So one obvious question, why they don't put the definition in the same article? And why we have to wait 6 articles to discover the definition? So I will not show you many rows, okay? I would like to be at Article 7. It's okay?
Sure.
The most difficult part is for Maria, because she has to know when we are going. You did it. Okay, great. So, you see that there is a definition of Macedonian. We have 2 paragraphs. Paragraph 2 is for Greece, the 3 is for FYROM, and we have some details. So the first details, you can see there's the following. You see the expression in the second line, northern region of the first party. It's okay, it's obvious for you? that we are talking about Macedonia. So we don't use anymore the word Macedonia for Macedonia, but we use the expression northern region of the first part. It's okay for you?
No.
The sign. Okay? So, the explanation why they don't use the word Macedonia, because they want to use it for the other. So, let's say, no name. This country with no name, we have Macedonia as a name, with Northern Macedonia. And because we have a region with a name, we have to avoid the name of this region and mention just northern region of the first part. Okay. It's, in fact, unbelievable that some Greeks can sign this, but it's only for Greeks. This is the first problem. The second problem is rather difficult to observe. You see the second line of the third paragraph, it's written with their own history. Okay. So for Greece, they mention Hellenic civilization, history, culture, and heritage, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But for FYROM, they mention with their own history, culture, and heritage. So the problem is, what is this history? Because they don't put their own history for Greece, but only for FYROM. So, what does it mean? That Greece has history, like history for other countries, but for FYROM we have only one specific history, their own history. So in fact, we sign that we agree that we disagree. It's a divorce. So when Lygeros mentioned the word Macedonia, it has a meaning. I mentioned this, the same word has another meaning, but we are talking about the same things. This is impossible. But the problem is not only this, is in fact that the pre-agreement accepts that there can be two histories. The official, you know it, and another one. And the other one has the same level of the official. So you agree or you pre-agree?
Disagree.
Flashback. So, just I want you to show this because, so we are at the article 1, okay? Yes, correct. You should keep yes, yes. So, the next, just the next, you will see two alphabets, okay? So imagine that you don't know anything, which is easy. And now I try to convince you that, you see, you have two lines, two vertical lines, and I just try to convince you that the second one is totally different with the first. You can see it, no? No?
No.
You see something which is looks like the same, no? And in fact, these two languages should be different. So, it's in Greek because I don't have this in English, but the meaning, the next, is that we have the Indo-European language, we have the Slavic language, we have at the end the Slavic language of the south, and we can create Bulgarian. At the end of this process, which is rather natural, we have an artificial creation of a language, which is the language of FYROM. So it's a mix of Serbian, Russian, Turkish, and in fact, all Slavic language. So in fact, there is no language like this. We know it. Sometimes the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Greece who is an historian? No? A linguist? Oh no. But just again, yes. So he tried to explain to us that Professor Babiniotis, who is a linguist, and explained that no one can say that it's a language. He tried to convince us that it's a language. And we give this definition at the United States in 1977. So, in fact, it's wrong. But you make a point because we didn't read this. So, if you read the text of the United Nations in 75, you will see that there is no correlation with what you mentioned. Okay, the next one is the first really confusion, which is objective. So you know, we discovered the expression erga omnes. You know, in Greece we discovered this kind of expression, except for Maria, of course, just with problems. So we have the expression casus belli. Now we have erga omnes, which means in fact that we should have the same name for everybody. But even in the Article 1, paragraph 3, you can see that the country codes for license plates of the second party should be, you see the code, but for all other purposes, country codes remain the same. So this is only Macedonia. You see the point? Oh, don't say no, it's written. It's incredible, but it's written. What does it mean? It means that everything in FYROM will be the same, just for the cars and for the license plates, which are going to go in Greece. So imagine that we have, in fact, two license plates, one for inside and one for outside, and so we solve the problem. You just change. You go in Greece, it's okay. So this is in the same article, okay? So even Article 1 proves that there is no erga omnes. So just see the next slide. All the time we are talking about NATO and the European Union, but in fact we will have all the problems. And for example, here, this is the Commission names. So they don't bring us Sureki. No. Neither Halva. Because of the pre-agreement, is no more Macedonian. You know, now the word Macedonian for the products will be dedicated to FYROM products. So our products are protected only in Greece. Outside, she has a headache. Yes, I know, okay, I just have to explain this. So the commercial names, the trademark, the brand names, all these kind of things are now changing. And we have a problem, for example, for, you know, it's impossible to say it in English, Mevgal. Huh? You know Mevgal? Okay. So the M is Macedonian. So they have to change this. If we accept the pre-agreement and have the ratification of the agreement, so all these commercial names should be different because they are no more protected. If you think that it is incredible and crazy, I just want to remind you that halloumi, you know halloumi? You think that is Cyprus, no? No, no more. So now it's a British company, which wins for justice. And so now, when Cyprus wants to export halloumi, it has to pay the British company. Do you know this?
No.
It's very recently this decision. I just want to give you this example because when we see this kind of thing, we say, oh, come on, this fantasy. It's just justice. So now with this Article 1, I can show you, in fact, that FYROM can go to the justice, okay? And in fact, make a point with all this commercial name and win because of the Article 1, because Greece signed it. So you should explain this to your friends if they are businessmen, because sometimes they don't care about the country, they don't care about the name, they don't care about anything, but for the product, they have a problem. Okay, so this is Article 1. Now, Article 1, the next. We know that they should submit the agreement to the Parliament, so they did it for ratification. In fact, they proposed 3 modifications, but we will see it in January. I would just want to show you the 4C. You see, the 4C mentioned that the referendum was not an obligation. So you see, if it is, if it decides so, we'll hold a referendum. So they try at the first time to explain us that this referendum will be something very important. After they explain us, no, it's just a referendum. At the end, they explain us that, we don't care because we are going to continue this in the Parliament. So maybe it reminds you something, but here it's different. In fact, it was not an obligation. So they did it because they thought that the result will be a good result. It wasn't. The next part, on the same slide, is the fact that the second party shall conclude in total the constitutional amendment by the end of this year. So here we have the only expression related with time in the pre-agreement, the only. So now we have 2 points. 1, FYROM finished all the process at that time. It's okay, we continue. FYROM has no time to finish the process. The pre-agreement is dead. You know it? You hope it? No hope. They will finish. But it's mentioned. They mentioned this. By the way, the government in Greece said, okay, we don't care if they finish in January, it's okay. But why you put this? No? You didn't listen about this, but they will finish in January, but it's written that they should finish in December. So in fact, we are very cool. Article 2. All the time we are mentioning that in fact we should care about NATO and European Union, but the first paragraph shows you that the application for the membership of the second party under the name of the terminology of Article 1 should be for all organizations, international, multilateral and regional level. So, the first question, in how many organizations we are as Greece? More than 40. In all these organizations, FYROM can be accepted due to Greece. It's incredible. By the way, just for you, some of those organizations have no United States of America and no Germany. it's just for you, because sometimes you're thinking that, you know, this country make everything, not so everything. Because we have some organization, and you know it, by the way, also with Trump, United States of America are not in all these organizations. But don't worry, Greece is, so Greece will have FYROM. So the new song for FYROM in Greece is Saint Valimi. Saint Valimi, you know. Oh, it's very important because all the time we mention only two organizations. But by the way, FYROM is already in United Nations since 1993, and the Council of Europe at the same day, and with the help of Greece, with a new flag. So, can you see the 4B? It's very interesting because this ratification procedure should be concluded together with the ratification procedure of this agreement. What does it mean? This is totally illegal. I mean, we have a pre-agreement, we signed a pre-agreement, and we said, when we finish this, FYROM will be NATO and European Union, which is against acquis communautaire. Because when you are in the European Union, we have to be together, the 28, maybe 27, never mind. All the countries have to decide if we want to open or close a chapter of the acquis communautaire. So, we are against European Union because Greece, before, says, I will vote yes. I don't care about the respect of the acquis communautaire, I will just say yes. It was the same thing at the Annan Club. So this is the Article 2. Next one, Article 3. So this article was presented in Greece as a great achievement. Why? They explained us that with this article, now the borders are clear. The international borders are clear. But in fact, it's wrong, because in fact, FYROM is afraid of Greece, and not the opposite. But they explained us that it was an achievement. In fact, we accept that we will not go to monastic. In fact, it's already a compromise. We accept that this boundary, this international border, will be inviolable. It's a really joke in strategy because, you know, if you see all the countries in all the planet, you will see that boundaries, borders, international borders change all the time. Kosovo, Serbia, Albania, Nagorno-Karabakh, Timor-Oriental, all of them. And now we just signed this. Article 4. In fact, it just said that we should not interpret the constitution of FYROM as a problem. I will show you some article of the constitution, FYROM, in English by the way, and you will see that we have many problems. And now we say that there is no problem before, but FYROM decided to change the constitution. So we have a problem. It's the following. We said that there is no problem, but after the signature, they changed 3 times the constitution. And now they are going to finish this constitution. So the problem is why we signed Article 4 before the end of the process. Article 6. Article 6 is very strange, is very related to Soviet propaganda. So, for example, what we are going to do here, to speak and study, in fact, all these articles, in fact, with paragraph 2. This will be impossible after the ratification of the pre-agreement. So you can read it. They want to take effective measures against us, so we'll be able to do something like this in America, but not in Greece. So this lecture will be forbidden in Greece. Because, for example, because Lygeros is only, in fact, what? A private entity. But if you are in the previous one, if you are in state agencies or agencies directly or indirectly controlled by the state, it will be the same. So, no demonstration, no lecture, which are organized by the state or by a private entity, or, and the third one is the more Soviet argumentation. You know, in the United States you have something that you can do or not. In the Soviet Union you have also the third thing. It's forbidden to think that we are going to do this. This is the third paragraph. So if you imagine the next lecture, it's wrong. You should not do that. Article 7. We saw it. So I would like to go to the Article 8. So the Article 8 is the most strange article of all. Why? Because in fact Article 8 can exist without ratification. Interesting, no? So just prove it. 20. Many. The 20, Article 20. Don't worry, you got it. Yes. So, imagine, we have Article 8, paragraph 5, which is explained by Article 20, 8, 20, paragraph 4. And in fact, it explains that Article 8, paragraph 5 shall apply provisionally, pending the entry into force of this agreement. Another way to put it is, we can start the process, and we can start all the work with the committee of the Article 8, paragraph 5. I'm forced to do this because, you know, this is a strange language of diplomacy. So, 5. What I got is 5. No. Sorry. Paragraph 5 of Article 8. Yes, this one. This is the very important point. Why? Because in fact they decided to make a joint interdisciplinary committee of experts. Be careful. Expert in what? On historic, archaeological and educational matters. So it's okay. But this committee shall be supervised by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the question is, Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the competent ministry for history, archaeology, and educational matters? Strange, no? So, it's strange in a rather normal country. But if you are in a country which do not believe in nation, do not believe in history, you can't use the Ministry of Civilization, the Ministry of Religion, so you use the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The problem is the following. So now we got the name of the Greek name and the Scopian name of this committee. First remark, someone who is a specialist of Russian language can be in the committee? Yes. So, if you know Russian, for our government, you know history, archaeology, and educational matters. It's obvious, no? This is a Soviet language. If you know Russian, it's okay. For the others, then we know that they are only PhD, but we don't know in which field. So if you see the 10 people inside this committee, you will have also a problem just for the definition. So, another point which is very important is that they can change history with history. They can change archaeology with archaeology. So imagine, they always find this. Take this. Okay. I found this, and I say, this is archaeology, this is not archaeology. Seems to be the same. No. This is mine, it's okay. This is yours, it's wrong. In archaeology. And by the way, they can change also maps and cherry historical atlases. So the question is, how can you change historical atlases if they are historical atlases? You can change atlases. You can change the geography, you can change the name, but how can you change historical atlases? So they said you can do it. So in fact, this committee should be able to do the following thing. To consider the objective scientific interpretation, the scientific interpretation. So there are a lot of scientists here, you know the problem. What is the scientific interpretation? It's a scientific fact. This is an interpretation, it's a theory. But a theory in which field? In history? So the scientific interpretation of historical events. Events. Oh, just for Maria. My preferred remark in Annan plan is remark 28. Not here, just because she trying to find the rules. No. So they said in Annan plan that the event between 1963 and 1974 do not exist. Strange, no? Only you can do this. This is justice legal. You can decide that there is no event, but the phrase, the sentence, the event. So we are talking about something. The event between this and this, we are talking certainly about something, do not exist. We can do this. We can do this in an agreement, in a pre-agreement, what you like. But here, they will interpret what? History based on authentic evidence, based on and scientifically sound historical sources and archaeological finding. So imagine you have a tomb in archaeology, and you say, we found something else which can change the previous one. It's impossible. So, this is the first part is more FYROM, the second part is more Greece. You will understand why it's Greece. Because this committee should convene regularly, at least twice a year. This is Greek. You know it. So don't worry, then we need at least 1 century to do this. By the way, they should be approved by the High-Level Cooperation Council. So we will define this council in Article 12. So this is also Greek, Article 12, don't worry. So there will be, in fact, headed by the Prime Minister. So you see, the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will control the committee and the High-Level Cooperation Council. By the way, in Greece we are smarter, because we decide to have only one. So he will control himself, from himself, against himself. My God. So this is Article 12. So let's go to Article 13. It's a big problem. The Article 13 doesn't mention the expression exclusive economic zone. Oh, she did. But mention the expression landlocked state. So if you are a specialist in this field, you know that the landlocked state is the Chapter 5 of the Law of the Sea and Ocean. So it's related to EEZ. So the explanation is the following. Greece gives what? Gives the EEZ to Skopje to use it, but we don't have any declaration of the EEZ. So we give them the access to our EEZ before our EEZ. Because EEZ is not like the relief, we have to declare it because it's not a right ab initio. And that's why it's very strange. They're going to be upset, you know.
Dr. Lygeros, what is EEZ?
Oh, you don't know EEZ? In Greek it's ours. You know ours? No. So, okay, apokrisiki ekonomiki zone.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Ah, you prefer like this?
I prefer like
Okay, never mind. So either say EEZ, okay? So we use 200 miles in the sea, and we said that we can use them for economic reasons. So now, this article will be very useful for FYROM because they can use it for fishery. Why? Because in fact, this position is living on this article 69. So now it's different, it's not in the pre-agreement, it's the 5th chapter of the Law of the Sea, and you can see the right of landlocked states. So you can see that in this case, we can have access to the living resources, okay? For example, fish. So you see all these points, and you can see in the point C, the exclusive economic zone, you see? Okay. So when you have a country which has no coast, it can ask you another one, can you give me the permission to go there? But we have to sign an agreement. And this was one of your main questions. Separately. But now we put this agreement in the pre-agreement without the declaration. Χωρίς την θέσπιση της ΑΟΣ. So, it will give me money. Okay? No? Okay, I will have money, but before I get the money, I sign that I will give the money to Margaret. So, in the Greek Parliament, they explained us that we didn't give anything because we don't have it. So I didn't give you anything because I don't have it. But in fact, when I will have it, you will get it. And they did this. So we have the Article 69, and before, the Article 69 in the first paragraph mentioned the Article 61 and 62. So let's go back to 61. She's sharp. Okay. So conservation of the living resources is only for fishing. So, and the 62 is utilization of the living resources. Now, what is the real problem? Two problems. Does FYROM ask to Albania an access to its EEZ? No. Does FYROM ask an access to Bulgaria, to the Black Sea? No. Does FYROM ask Greece an access to Aegean Sea? No.
We often did.
No? They don't ask this. We give them. We did. Okay. So, you know, when you read this, you know, we have, in English it's only 4 lines. We solve a problem with 4 lines just about the solution of the name. There is no relation with the name. And we give already our EZ for the living resources. So it's a problem, a big one. But another problem is they are going to fish, okay? How many? How many times? In fact, we have no stop process because it's only in the declaration of the EEZ. You got it, everybody? You know? Huh? It's on. Είναι μόνο στην θέσπιση της ΑΟΣ που υπάρχει το πρόστιμο. Επειδή δεν το έχουμε, δεν έχουμε πρόστιμο. So in fact, we cannot stop them fishing because we don't have any act which is mentioned, okay, you should take only this or that. And if you don't do this, you have to pay. This is in the declaration, but we have no declaration. In the United States of America, we have the declaration. We have the delimitation. In the United States of America, we didn't sign the law of the sea, you know, for another reason. For the 200 miles to make them 350. Okay, so this is Article 30. Article 40. So for the moment, you are not really upset because it's only fish. No? So now you know that Aegean Sea belongs to fish and fishes belongs to FYROM. And just a detail. Imagine that we are from FYROM. Okay? You are Greece. We are in the, don't worry, it's just a scenario. So, because it's we are fishing, okay? We have your fish. And we want to sell them. Are we going to sell them in Greece or in FYROM? It seems like a joke, no? We are going to sell them to you. And the product will be Macedonian fish of Macedonia, which is no more Macedonia, but is the north region of the first part. And our boats will be where? At Saloon. You know Saloon? No? Thessaloniki? Saloon. So we sign this. Okay, so this is only for fishing process, but now I want to show you Article 40. Yes. Don't be upset. So, they give us nothing. Nothing. But we are generous. We will give them the construction, the maintenance, the utilization of interconnecting natural gas and oil pipelines. Be careful. Existing, under construction, and projected. Even the next step. We will give, don't worry, also renewable energy resources, AP, including photovoltaic, wind, and hydroelectric energy. So don't worry, we will give everything. But we will give also what? The transfer of know-how and expertise. So we give them oil, gas, photovoltaic, wind, hydroelectric, know-how, and expertise. Your friends like this. This is Article 40. You read it, no? It's sent to you like your phone. You didn't say anything. It was okay, no? Maybe you vote this. This is a real problem because, you know, Skopje, FYROM, doesn't have any enterprise, society, commercial things about oil and gas. Everything belongs to Greek Petroleum, FYROM. They have only one pipeline for oil. It starts at Thessaloniki. The other one for gas is from Russia. They use lignite. And we have a problem with this. And they have no more. So they try, since 2000, to find energy. They can give energy only for 60% of the population. So the problem is the following. We didn't get anything, and we accept to give all these things, even in energy, in their country. So this is Article 40. I mentioned those two articles at a very high level in Greece, very high level, and he asked me, what is this article? They are in the pre-agreement, the Article 13 and 14. Obviously, he stops at Article 7, because it was mentioned in Article 1. So, it seems like a joke, because, you know, when you read Article 1 and Article 7, and you think that you have only two articles, you have a problem, because it's 7. There are others. Okay, Article 20. So 20, you remember Article 8, Paragraph 5, but it reminds us that we will use this pre-agreement for international, multilateral, and regional institutions or organizations, including, of course, EU. So it's very important to know this because we will have obligation. You see, the first party shall apply the agreement in accordance with its obligation deriving from its membership to the European Union. It's incredible because there is no obligation to the other country which is only candidate. Just remember the following thing. In 2009, the European Union decided to make an obligation and says the following thing. You have to solve the problem of the name before the first opening of a charter. So we have in European Union 35 chapters. Just to have an example, you remember that Slovenia was introduced in European Union in 2004, Croatia in 2013. For Serbia, we already opened 12 chapters and we closed 2. For Montenegro, Mavrovunio, we opened already 30 chapters and we closed 3. For FYROM, 0. But all the time you are mentioned that is very important. So this is Article 20. At the end of the process, I would just want to show you in witness the next, yes. So there is only one language official, the English language. So even if you read this in Greek, remember that the only official language is English. It's a very good point, because if we are Greek, we should have also Skopje language and also Albanian language, because they are official. So imagine to sign this. So, oh, by the way, you see here that Matthew Nimitz was only a witness. That's the point. So, critical points of the Constitution of FYROM. It's very important to know that right now we are talking about the Constitution. Many people speak about the Article 49. They never mention the Article 36, which is much more important. But by the way, they do not mention also the preamble. Why? In fact, the question, you don't do this question, by the way. The question is, why, while we are talking with another country, which states in this preamble that we do not exist in its country? Explain. So, except of the word FYROM, all the others are really in the Constitution of the Republic of Macedonia. So they explain to us who are the citizens of the Republic of Macedonia. So they say Macedonian people, so imagine, Skopje, but they put also Albanian, Turkish, Vlach, Serbian, Romanian, and Bosnian. You don't see the word Greek. There are no Greek officially with the Constitution of FYROM. So my first question is, why Greece is speaking with FYROM, but they never mention the Greeks' presence in their country? So we have to change this. By the way, we have to change also Article 5, Article 7, of course Article 49. Oh, in this, you don't have the Article 36, never mind. So they explain to us the following thing. Maybe it's on the other, but never mind. Oh.
Was it before?
No, it's on the other. Yeah. Never mind. So, you see Article, no, it's okay. You see Article 49. So, they want to change this, and it's a very nice thought from the previous Minister of Foreign Affairs. He explained to us that you should care about Article 49. It's very strange because when it was in the government, he never mentioned Article 49. At the end, when he went, he said, be careful with Article 49. In fact, Article 36 explained that, you know, partisan, the people of FYROM, were against fascists. The fascists were, in fact, Albanian. So we have Skopje with Albania, they are fighting, and they mention this Article 36 in their constitution. And Zaev, and also our Prime Minister, explained to us that they can change this article because it's historical. We can change everything for Greece, we don't care, but for them, for the article 36, it's impossible because it's history. It seems like a joke also. Okay, let's go to the blazon, the shield. Yes, this. You see, this is not Greek. No. It's Valak. Because there are no Greeks. So everybody here knows that this is Valak, no? Or you thought it was Greeks. It was Greeks before the pre-agreement. Now it's Valak. Okay.
What do you mean? What is Valak? Valak?
Vlach.
Oh, Vlach.
Yes, we have to explain also this, yes. I don't show this. I just wanted to show you that in this pre-agreement, you see Article 13 and Article 18, which are not naval, but in the interim accord, it was Article 12 and Article 13. It was logical. So, remember this. In 1995, we got an interim accord between the Hellenic Republic and the FYROM. You know, it was written. In this pre-agreement, it's not written. It was in New York, so they thought that nobody knows where is New York, but everybody knows where is Prespes. So they signed at Prespes. No? Seems very intelligent, no? Oh, you're surprised. You know where is New York? Because Prespes is very famous. It's very famous since 1949, when the Communist Party decided that Macedonia should be out of the Greece. And it was in Prespes. By the way, the Communist Party is the oldest party in Greece. You know it? Yes, this year it's 100 years. 1 century. So the pre-agreement was a commemoration. So I just want to show you the Article 11. Maria is okay? Find it. So the Article 11 is very crucial. Why? You know, because it was one of your questions also. In 2008, you remember that there was a veto, no? More or less. It was a really veto? No. It was like a veto? Yes. It was a veto from Greece? More or less. It was an advice from United States to Greece? Yes. So, in fact, they advised us, you should put a veto and we will accept it. So, we said that we are going to put a veto. Let's say, okay. So, Greece has the right to put a veto against FYROM? No, of course not. I saw you, and I saw you, because you said, you can read it. In fact, Greece has the right to put a veto just in one case, if FYROM change name. But as FYROM, it's impossible. We accept this. So, in fact, we did it. It was wrong. Yes, it was wrong. It was illegal. Yes, it was illegal. That's why in 2011, we go to the justice and we were condemned. You know this? So, they condemned Greece and they said, you should not do this. So we say, okay. So shall I pay something? No. Oh. And if I do this again, it will be the same. So, if somebody says it is forbidden, but if you do it, you have no problem. You will do it or not? So you know. So we do it again. Because there are no remedies. So this is the Article 11, but by the way, remember that officially we shouldn't. You see? There's a difference between justice and strategy. If justice said you don't have to pay, strategy we say do it. If you have to pay and it's a lot of money, you say okay, don't. So for Article 23, please. Some person, even at a very high level in Greece and also in the United States, do not know that even now the interim accord exists. So there is only one way to stop it. To have a pre-agreement with a new agreement and refuse the previous one, or to say that in fact I can stop them after 7 years. You see the paragraph 2, provided that after 7 years either party may withdraw from this interim. Okay, so you have to write a notice and say to the other country, I would like to stop. And after 12 months, which shall take effect 12 months after the delivery to the other party. So we never did this. Never. Okay? So it's very important for you to know that we have this interim accord even now. When we will stop the pre-agreement, we will remain with this one. We can also try to withdraw it. If you don't like the Article 11, we can stop it. So it's very important to do this and to imagine that if we do this, we have a strategy to change everything. I don't want water. No. If it's for me, I never drink at lecture. So don't worry. Ask me. You are in the committee? It's okay. So I will find. Okay, try to find a map with green color. Yes. So this is Kosovo. Can ask who cares about Kosovo in this negotiation. In fact, the green color are Muslims. So you got it? Okay. This is, in fact, Montenegro. So the red color is Montenegrin, the blue one is Serbia. Okay? The green color are Muslims. You see the position in the map? So in fact, we have the Albanian Muslims together in the same site. Now I show you FYROM. This time you can find it that in fact the Albanian are the red. For example, the Turkish are the yellow. Okay, you see the oh come on. Next. Yes, here. Okay. So you can see that the Albanian people in FYROM are not everywhere. They are very close to Albania and also to Kosovo. That's why there are a problem in 2001. So the problem is the following. We are 3 states with the same population and the same religion. And we are just thinking that if we sign this pre-agreement, there will be no problem. So, just do this, the next. Okay. This is a demonstration in Greece. More than 74 demonstrations in Greece, just for this problem. So now, I suppose that it's obvious that there is a problem. And that's why we have all this demonstration. It was imprevisible. Nobody thought that it was possible in Greece. And we saw this. So, NATO. So, you will have dates. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So this is NATO in Europe. So you know. You see where it's copied. So when someone tries to explain you that it's very important to get this country inside NATO, it seems to be yes, okay, why not? So I will show you NATO here, the next one. Okay. So try to show us FYROM. Here. Don't miss it. No, come on, again. I just want to explain you something. Imagine that we are in the United States of America, in Canada, in Norway, in France, and we are, as Greek, said in Greece, that it's very, very important to get this point. It's really amazing to think that it's very important. Who cares? So the idea of NATO is very easy. The center is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay? That's why Islam is in NATO since 1949. The same for Norway. You see that if you see all the coasts, you will see that except of Ireland, everything is controlled. So when we try to think that it's very important for NATO to get this country inside, it's impossible. It's just a detail. They don't want the influence of Russia in this area, in the Balkan area, not especially here. So I will show you another map with blue. No, not forward. Come on, you can do it. Yes, okay. So it's the same thing. We are in the European Union, and they explain to us that, you know, this point, remember, Lygeros, yes, you got it. It's much more simple in the European Union. Yeah? Yes. So, in fact, this point is very important. Why? At what level? In fact, they are inside European Union everywhere. Who cares? Many maps. Just a plaza. Okay, continue. Yes. Yes. This one. So this is the official position of FYROM in 1944. You see what is written? Yes? So, the next. No more. So, one question is, what? This one, yes. 46. Alone. Huh? They remove the name between the 2 years alone. Okay. If you make the next one, yes, you see the next one? You see the star? The vanishing star? So with the star it was communist, at the end they removed the star. So they removed Macedonia before the star. Just to remind you the chronology. And at the end This, no. Yes? This is the official heraldic symbol, you know, from FYROM since 2009. So my question is, why they changed so many times something which was not a request from Greece, and by themselves they removed the word Macedonia. So a big map of Europe. Yes. So this is Europe with EZ. I will explain this expression more tomorrow about economy and strategy, but I just want to show you what is the situation right now and finish this first part. You see the white color is the EZ, in fact, of the European Union. You can see just the little things next to Italy, you see, the little blue, is the EZ of Albania and the EZ of Montenegro. We don't care about FYROM. So just approve 3 times. Yes. This is the Allied Land Command for the soldier. You can find the map of the NATO in Europe, and you can see the following thing. You see the dots, the very important dots are next to the sea, or in more or less Benelux, France and Germany. For example, Albania is in NATO since 2009. They didn't put anything there. So my question is the following. Why it's so important to put FYROM in NATO without access to the sea? Because we want to go where? Access to Thessaloniki. We are already in NATO and we have a base in NATO. You can see it. So, in fact, we are a landlocked country without European Union, without Eurozone, without, of course, NATO, and we want to compare 2 countries. But we can see that it's impossible to compare them because the level is very different. So in fact, why we did this is just due to ideology. So our government right now is a government of very left position. That's why we are all on the other side. And they decide that in fact we are together with Zaev because it's from the same ideology. By the way, I just want to remind you something. Very often in Greece we said for FYROM that they are right and left. No? Vemero, right and left in FYROM. It's wrong because they are all communists. It's only the right wing of communism and the left wing of communism. You know this? It's very simple because before 1991 they were all in the Communist Party. So you forget this. Because sometimes we hear in Greece, oh, you know, VMRO is like New Democracy, and the other is like PASOK, is like Syriza, or I don't know what else. In fact, it's wrong, because if you see the resume of their CVs, you will see that they were all in the Communist Party. We forget this. So in fact, when we have Zaev, it was very close, so Syriza decided to make an agreement with them due to ideology. So they don't care about history, they don't care about Hellenism, they don't care about the nation, and they want to do what? They want to do a Balkan Union between Albania, FYROM, Greece, Bulgaria, Bulgaria, Serbia, and also Romania. It's very strange because they want to do this union inside the European Union and against the European Union. It's not Brexit, it's Balkanicity. Very strange. So, they have the nostalgia of what? Of Yugoslavia and of course of Soviet Union. So they try to explain to us that this pre-agreement is the first agreement between states of the future Balkan Union. That's their point. So that's why we have to stop this. We will stop this, of course, and even if it surprises us, but in fact we have to do this because we cannot accept something which called history and Hellenism. And remember that when they try to take your history, it's worse than territories. Because if you give territories, you can take them back. If you give history, it's impossible. It's an irreversible process. So we finish. That's why we have to stop this pre-agreement. And you know that we have some duties in Greece, but also in America. Right now, in America, we try to find many contacts with congressmen and senators to get a resolution which looks like this. United States of America accept that FYROM will be in NATO and also in European Union, but without the name Macedonia. That's why Greek of America, but also other Americans, had started some contact with those guys to make a pool and with their relation to get this resolution, which is very important for us even after the non-ratification of the pre-agreement. So I'm just speaking about the future after the pre-agreement with the use of the interim accord and of course at the end of the process the use of the EEZ, but for that I will explain it tomorrow. So thank you. Don't be upset, we will do it.